Listen, the Federal Reserve just signaled a massive shift. And you know what? The smart money is already abandoning tech stocks for physical assets. If your portfolio is still running on 2025 logic, you are stepping directly into a liquidity trap. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the historic macroeconomic shifts defining 2026. We're going to start with this massive squeeze coming from global central banks and track its direct impact across all major asset classes. Oh, and quick housekeeping before we jump in. The information today is strictly not investment advice, so please make your financial decisions based on your own risk profile. All right, let's get into it.
Here is the agenda for today's explainer. We'll be mapping out this domino effect across 5 critical areas. 1. The central bank trap. 2. Japan's rate shockwave. 3. Real estate under pressure. 4. The equal weight rotation. And 5. The silver and gold surge.
Section 1. The central bank trap. Fighting sticky inflation.
Look, we are witnessing a historic rotation right now. And make no mistake, the era of cheap money is officially dead. As ECB President Christine Lagarde points out, geopolitical conflicts have kept energy prices heavily elevated. She's sounding the alarm on a very specific fear here: second-round inflation effects. Basically, this is what happens when initial energy shocks force companies to pass costs down to consumers, who then turn around and demand widespread wage hikes. So both the ECB and the Fed are effectively trapped by this sticky energy inflation, which is forcing capital to completely rethink its positioning.
Meanwhile, over in the U.S., new Fed Chair Kevin Warsh and the Federal Reserve held their key rate high at 3.50% to 3.75% in July. They are battling intense inflationary pressures coming from multiple angles. It's not just energy, actually. It's new tariffs, plus the massive corporate borrowing required to fund all this artificial intelligence infrastructure.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the divergence in the data. While traditional U.S. CPI has cooled down to an estimated 2.5%, the Fed's preferred gauge, core PCE, is running much hotter at 3.3%. And that stubbornly high PCE, that is exactly what keeps those interest rates locked high. The inflation dragon just isn't slain yet, and the market's hopes for rapid rate cuts are fading fast.
Section 2. Japan's rate shockwave. The end of zero.
For decades, Japan was literally the anchor of zero or even negative interest rates. But the Bank of Japan has officially ended its era of ultra-cheap money. They tweaked the yield cap back in 2022, officially raised their short-term policy rate to 0.50% in 2025, and they're now completing their transition away from LIBOR to the new toner reference rate. By raising rates to fight their own domestic inflation, the BOJ is threatening to completely detonate the massive yen carry trade.
For years, hedge funds and corporations borrowed incredibly cheap yen to go out and buy higher-yielding Western tech stocks and bonds. But narrowing the interest rate gaps between Japan and the West, that removes a massive source of global liquidity. It's forcing overleveraged investors to rapidly reevaluate their positions, sending shockwaves through global markets that have long relied on that cheap, borrowed capital.
Section 3. Real estate under pressure. The valuation reset.
So what happens to debt markets when global borrowing costs freeze at these high levels while liquidity just completely dries up? Well, U.S. commercial real estate has suffered a staggering 18% peak-to-trough price decline following these tighter financial conditions. Buyers and sellers are finally waking up to the reality that higher base rates are the new normal, and that's triggering a prolonged valuation reset across the entire globe.
But this recovery is deeply uneven. High rates continue to squeeze debt funding, making a 10 to 15 basis point margin widening highly plausible in European markets. Crucially, office buildings are taking the absolute brunt of the damage here, while industrial sectors, like urban logistics, are holding the line. This massive divergence is forcing a total re-underwriting of global credit markets. You literally can't just buy a broad real estate index right now. Private credit investors have to be incredibly selective.
Section 4. The equal weight rotation. Seeking diversification.
Now, before we map out the critical action plan here, please take a second to subscribe to the channel, like this explainer, and share it with fellow investors. Okay, so with top-heavy equity markets and a freezing real estate sector, smart capital is radically shifting its equity strategies. There's a stark contrast right now between the traditional market cap-weighted S&P 500 fund, the SPY, and its equal-weighted counterpart, the RSP. The SPY has become massively top-heavy, with over 30% concentrated solely in technology. That means your performance is entirely reliant on just a handful of megacaps. But the RSP, it spreads risk uniformly. It gives a flat 0.20% allocation per stock, bringing tech down to 16.9% and elevating sectors like industrials and financials.
And honestly, the math speaks for itself.
Avoiding mega-cap concentration has actually boosted returns this year. The equal-weight RSP is returning 15.3% year-to-date, comfortably beating the SPY's 13.3%. And what's truly astonishing, the equal-weight technology fund, ticker RSPT, is absolutely crushing the traditional cap-weighted tech fund, 41% to 28%. Let that sink in.
Because of this, investors are actively moving over $12 billion into these equal-weight vehicles this year, really to insulate themselves from potential AI bubble corrections. Your daily cash flow absolutely needs structural defense. Smart money is keeping dry powder in global value ETFs for the inevitable margin call liquidations, while simultaneously rotating into ultra-short T-bills and money market funds like SGOV and JPST that are safely yielding high single digits.
Section 5. The Silver and Gold Surge, the Hard Asset Haven. This brings us to our final domino, a historic institutional rush into physical protection. To understand this massive commodities surge, we have to look at the gold-to-silver ratio. Simply put, this is the number of silver ounces needed to buy 1 ounce of gold. It's a classic valuation metric used by markets to determine the relative value between these two precious metals.
As of August 2026, this ratio has tightened, compressing to 68 to 1. That's a really critical number because it sits squarely within its 50-year historical average range. Silver has quietly stopped losing ground and is actively catching up to gold.
Market historians actually use this exact 80-50 rule matrix to gauge their allocations. When the ratio is above 100 to 1, you aggressively buy silver. When it falls below 40 to 1, you increase gold. Right now, sitting perfectly between 60 and 80 to 1, the metals are in a balanced, highly competitive state, and we are seeing institutions heavily accumulating physical silver while the ratio remains in this favorable, tightening window.
So the big takeaway here is that silver is surging because it benefits from an incredible dual identity. It is a monetary safe haven, absolutely, but it's also facing massive industrial demand, literally hitting record levels from AI data centers, solar panels, and electrification. Combine that with the U.S. Treasury actively buying back debt to cap soaring 30-year yields, which inherently pushes investors toward non-yielding hard assets, and you have a perfect storm. It's exactly why silver has outperformed gold by 17% in just the past month alone.
With central banks trapped, real estate resetting, and capital fleeing to equal weight in physical assets, how long will this systemic divergence last? These dominoes are still falling, leaving us to wonder just how long this complex macroeconomic puzzle will take to fully resolve in your own portfolios. But I really want to leave you with this final thought. Wealth transfer happens during panic, not euphoria. Do not let algorithmic volatility shake you out of your positions. Stay liquid, stay rational, and let the overleveraged players fund your next acquisition. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.